How you doing, folks? My name is Kim Johnson. I want to say hello to everybody out there, and God bless you. I want to say peace to the Dick Gregory family out there. Um, Dick Gregory passed away, and I send my prayers out to his family. I think Dick Gregory was a good person, and I learned a lot from him. And I like his style because he didn't go for no foolishness, man. When you was talking foolishness, Dick Gregory didn't want to hear it. And he will always be remembered by me and a few others that I know too. So I want to say, our prayers go out to that family. You know, this is an interesting day for me. I've been thinking about Ben Carson. This is a joke. Ben Carson is a joke, man. If you go for half of the stuff Ben Carson said, then you're crazy. Poverty is a state of mind, said Ben Carson. This is what he said. Now, keep in mind, too, Ben Carson is a doctor, a neurosurgeon. Ben Carson knows about the human mind, too, don't he? So he goes in the urban community, right? And he says that he found out that poverty is a state of mind. It sounds like to me he's making millionaires. In other words, who's going to be successful and who's not going to be successful. And if the DC area go for that, then they really crazy. And keep in mind, he is the head of urban development. He's the head. Okay? I wrote a couple of things down too I want to remember during this video here. He's the head of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Testing, huh, Mr. Carson? That's what that's called. That's called testing because he's a doctor. They've been doing that before he even came in office. So here comes another one who think that he got some answers to some things. Okay? You're some of the same ones who was preaching the Bible. See, they had doctors preaching the Bible. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? Oh, let me talk about it. The Reverend know it. You know the deacon board know it. Doctors was preaching the Bible. Oh, yeah. Studying church members to see how they received from God. And you may remember, right, I made a few videos on things like that too. I did. Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. That don't even make no sense. But it makes sense because you got one now that's the head of urban development put there by Mr. Donald Trump. I got a video on Donald Trump too. He is not as fearful as you think he is. It's actually very small when you find out how he really got there. See, they talk about doing the news, this Russia thing and how he had ties with Russia. Man, listen. Oh boy, wait till you find out the control he think he got. He really don't even have that. And I'm going to say this about that. Something greater than Trump knew that he was going to be the president. I made a video on that, but I didn't like the way it came out. I'm going to tell you about Donald Trump. You're going to love to hear this. Ben Carson is a neurosurgeon. He knows about the human mind. I listened to him talk about how great the human brain is and how it can calculate information and nothing else can compare to it at all. Well, he's one of the ones that preach the Bible. Oh, yeah, in churches. They found out that certain church members could receive from God and could detect them when they came into their congregation. And they became, oh, man, how did they know that I was that? Do you understand what I'm trying to say, man? What part of the human brain is calculating that? This is what they did to church members, man. Now he's in the ghetto because they did a survey on how many people in this country believe in God. And most people, the majority of people who believe in God are from the urban development, the urban communities. Oh, yeah. And they have received miraculous things from God, healings and different things like that. Let's talk about the healings. The healings. See, they didn't have all that money that you charging for health care to go to the hospitals, man. They didn't have that. So they had to believe in the power of God. Ask Mr. Carson about that. Because that's what the Tin Man did. I call him the Tin Man. Because that's not for the common good of everybody else. That's for the common good of your pockets. Because the ones who could receive from God through prayer and fasting, they those are the ones they chose to be in their little group so that your doctors could sit back and test the capacity of the human mind and how the subconscious mind works. You don't believe me, huh, Reverend? Oh, hold up for a minute. The Reverend? I know you believe it. Look, here's your favorite book. Mr. Carson gonna love this. Listen to this. You know what this book is? That's Napoleon Hill. I hope you can see that. Think to Grow Rich. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a video about the whole book. That's coming out soon. This is the book they used. Think to Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, Dennis Kimbrough also wrote a book with Napoleon Hill too for the black community. He did, Mr. Ben Carson. This book talks about poverty. What you and the government need to do, you need to talk about how you tried to hinder the people who actually use this as a self-help book because they wanted something different. And how you and your doctors and your psychologists, because that's what it is, this is a joke, tried to hinder those who could receive things like that. And you know what the jackleg preacher did? Oh, you're going to want to hear this, Reverend, because you wanted the jackleg preachers. The jackleg preacher wanted them to believe that he could receive what they wanted for them and their families. Let's talk about it, Reverend. You know it's true. So he goes in this community where you might be sitting at the table eating oodles and noodles. Maybe, okay, and he observes this. This is his observation. See, you can call a person like that like a King Solomon. I stood on the corner and I observed this person who was void of understanding. That's what he really said, as if he was some wise Solomon. Huh? I observed this person going near the corner of her, this lady over here on the corner. That's what it says in the book of Proverbs. He was void of understanding. See, people like that are come in the disguise of the Holy Bible. That's how they came. But see, when your preachers came like that, Mr. Carson, right? They left a lot of people damaged. So how do you, as a brain surgeon, correct the damages that you did? Because some people never even signed up for your testing. You sit back and chose them. You had mother-in-laws working against the wife. Let's talk about it, Mr. Carson. You had the children. Some fathers never even grew up with the children. This happened right here in this, what he call this godly nation. Right here he called it. But you'll go overseas and talk about how somebody's a communist. Man, you did it right here in this nation. And how they work. They met these people who knew about confession. Oh yeah. The speaking in tongues. How does you speak in tongues? They telling the doctors this. The doctors is not even interested in salvation at all, period. And the whole time they telling them he unzipping his jacket and he putting money in his pocket. Let's talk about that. Huh? Drug addictions. How you were studying drug addiction. How can a person come out of drug addiction? See, there's some things about God that their human mind and their own logic, and if you listen to him right, cannot understand the things of God. So in his logic, he was trying to understand, he was trying to grasp the spiritual part of it. You understand? But he could never grasp it because the only words he could use was the words of Webster's dictionary. That's all he could do. Because he wanted to sound good for his audience. So you need to talk about how is your brain going to heal the damages that you have already did to people's lives in the urban community. How you going to do that, Mr. Carson? Well, Mr. Carson don't have no answers for that. But this is what they do. They'll find somebody in the community who could probably help. some jackleg preacher. And then the Lord says, you need to forgive them. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says that if you don't forgive them, God ain't going to forgive you. And then they'll give the story because they have given the story of the unjust judge and the man who owed money. The judge forgave him, and he went out and found this man who owed him some money. And he had him whooped and thrown in prison. This is the scripture they use now, for the situation, to deceive people with the Holy Bible. And when the judge heard that he had not forgiven this guy, he called him to him and said, "Didn't I forgive you for all of this that you did? But I heard that you found somebody else out there." That's what the preacher was picking. Then I heard it, and I heard you was talking about somebody, and the judge had him thrown in prison. You know I was there when you said it. I said this is a madman. You know I said it. Poverty is a state of mind. Well, I'm gonna do a video on the book chapter, every single. You ain't gonna believe I'm gonna do this. Every single chapter. I'm gonna have to make 2 videos in it, but I'm gonna make it for you. I got a chapter in here that you're gonna really love, Mr. Carson. Oh, it's gonna be a nice surprise for you, buddy. I got something for you because you and Trump ain't doing nothing but lying. Let me tell you about it. You got Melania Trump up there praying the prayer, "Our Father who art in heaven." Oh yeah, listen to these idiots up there, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done." Trump is surprised that his wife even prayed that. That means you do not have the spiritual connection with your wife that you are supposed to have. What do you mean you're surprised that she said it if you're the head? You're the head. You got to be careful of people who say that word head too. Because if they are the head of the urban community, they have come what they call full circle to being a fool again because you ain't doing nothing but playing God. And that's what most doctors have already did, playing God. See, some people didn't need to go to your doctor because they couldn't afford health care. This is a true story, Deacon. So they had prayer and healing came, even to cancer victims, even to the man who was on the football field and his tongue was healed when his grandmother took the holy oil that she had put on the altar and healed his tongue. And he was eating the same day. And I'm telling you a lie, man, I'm not telling you no lie, man. I'm saying you are really amazing, man. Really, truly amazing. Trump put him up there to start. Look, they talk about this circle that they know. They don't. You know nothing about no triangles, nothing, period. Nothing about no squares. You know nothing. The only thing you know about a square is what you learned in elementary school. Well, welcome to the other school, because this school is going to teach you that you don't know nothing. You know nothing, man. The head of urban development. He's the head now, and the people are the body. So you're supposed to listen to this head. But this is the same one who's the head now that had the Holy Bible in his hand. He was preaching it. Guess what he was saying? Abundance is mine, and I shall not settle for less. And told the congregation to stand up and repeat this after me, and God's going to bless you. And the ones they taught the Bible to, when they got a connection with something greater than themselves, they're the same ones that came back to hinder them in the human brain. Because people like this, they study the human brain, the subconscious mind, the center of the brain, and all that, man. You know you did it. So I'm saying, watch this guy. He's not really even a threat. Truthfully, he's not. With some of this information I'm saying, right, if you was to sit back and just listen to him, lie, you don't even have to say nothing. Just be amazed at what comes out of their mouth. Is this man really, truly saying this? Am I really hearing this man? Oh, man. Get up and get you some water if you hear him say it, and wash your face and come back. This man is really saying this. Do you understand that, man? To play with the human mind. Okay? See, in some cities, what they have did, they have separated the black community from the white community. I got a whole lot to tell you about that too. Oh, you know I do now. You was playing God, huh? Oh, boy. on the yellow brick road, man, and playing with the yellow brick road. You the who? Man, you get ready to get massacred on that. You crazy. This is what they was doing with the Holy Bible. You definitely got lost along the way. You definitely did. You ain't out the woods yet. Well, yet. All this uproar in New York City. Oh man, this president. I got a video for you, boy, for that one, boy. Oh, I got something for you on that. I do. I got a video, and like I said, I made the video about Trump. After I sat and listened to what people on YouTube said, cause I watch your videos too. I said, man, I got something for him, man. America is burning down stores again. Why? When the deacon board wanted to be number one. You wanted your message to be number one. But you don't have the facts, man. You didn't live these people's lives that went through that. I told a reverend, I said it was a mentally challenged person. I said, man, you probably should listen to that. What the person said, I know. He was saying that he knew better than me, but he didn't. He didn't hear a word I said. The only thing he heard was his logic in his head. That's all. Poverty is a state of mind. That's what Ben Carson said. Yeah. How wonderful the human mind is. Teaching the Bible. I'm a son of God. That's who was teaching the Bible. I'm forgiven and will not be tormented by past situations. And then people who had stood up in the church congregation and said that, see, you say things like that in your spirit. The doctor came along to play with the human brain, Mr. Carson, right? To try to reverse that in the human mind to see what would happen if they reversed the scriptures. What would happen if a person's temple, which is the human body, is filled with the Spirit of God? What would happen if we was to quote the opposite to that spirit? I ain't gonna tell you. I've already told you in the video who they met. They met the wicked witch. That's who they met. And that ain't no lie. These are damages that they cause. I made a video about that one. And I did make one. It's on there. I made one. And I ain't lying in it, man. So I'm saying, when it comes to your life, man, be careful of people who they label as the head. Right? When you begin to get people like that out of your life, and you begin to look to God, who is the head, they preached it, man. I'm the head and not the tail. They preached that. And came along, right? And he can't even live it. Everything that comes out of his mouth is not even what he was teaching in the Bible. Doctors preaching the Bible. The church members detected them in the church. This man ain't right. They really did it. They was amazed at how they know that. How do people know that I'm a phony? This is the truth. And how they have screwed this nation up. Playing. And boy, they did. By the choices they made. We want to see how they make choices. How you stop some people from being rich. The black community had already knew that poverty is a state of mind and was making it out of poverty. Talk about what you did in that community. You did a whole lot of damages, man. And you didn't only do it in that community. You did it in the white community, in the suburbs too. Oh yeah, man, they didn't care. They had no, and God forbid if you had an enemy down there. Oh, then you was really down there doing it, wasn't your doctor? You sure was. You have to do it public yourself. When you begin to take people down out of your life, this is how you're going to feel. First of all, they study that because they have studied birth for so long. How a child is attached to his mother or his daddy. The baby automatically goes. When he say he's the head, they're the ones who study that. Right? That's the same thing they use when they talk to you. So you can look up to daddy and mama. That's all it is, man. When you begin to break that cycle, you are going to feel alone. And you're going to say, man, now you can put the head in the proper place. Who we call God, who you call God, I call God, or whatever, right? You will notice how crippled you really are to Him. That's when you begin to walk, okay? Then you listen to the TV set and they talk about, well, I'm telling you something that the government know I'm telling you. And if they come for me, y'all know that there's some information out there that I said on the TV set, and y'all watch out. That's all. That's another lie. If it comes from God, how is it the government's? This is a fool talking. I'm gonna close this video off right now. I'm going to make another video, and I want y'all to watch out for this video, Napoleon Hill. Oh yeah, Think to Grow Rich. I got another book by Napoleon Hill because I think he's a great author. I think you do. I'm gonna tell you what they did with this book, and I'm gonna break it down chapter by chapter. In here is Abraham Lincoln. In here is Thomas Edison. Oh yeah, Mahatma Gandhi is in the book. I got to tell you something about that boy, and then tell Mr. Carson about it and see what he says about that with his theories. Y'all be blessed, and I'll be making more of these. God bless you.